Hello, and welcome to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about a couple of specific topics, but in this particular video, I'm just going to be talking about enraged enemies. It's going to be 1 out of 4 parts. I just want to talk about, as I feel like I enjoy these ranting videos quite a bit, so I just want to, just talk about enraged enemies for a little bit. Now, enraged enemies are, let's just all agree, annoying as fuck. They're very obnoxious, very annoying, and it's pretty much BS, right? Now, for those of you that don't know what enraged enemies are, so I'm pretty sure you guys have been playing Space Marine 2 for quite some time, and you should have noticed that, for example, when it comes to the Tyranids, their face like glows red, and for the Chaos, it turns like purple, I'm pretty sure. And pretty much what that does is it pretty much increases their attack speed. You know, they have a higher damage output, they're more aggressive, and they're pretty much resistant to staggers, pretty much. Your heavy attacks don't do anything. They don't stagger them at all. The only way you're going to stagger them is if you get a parry. And I'm pretty sure, with the blocks, whatever it's called, the AoE attack, I'm pretty sure that's the only way you can stagger them, and that is it. Now, when it comes to certain enraged enemies, I feel like they have very annoying mechanics that make this game somewhat unenjoyable. And one of them being the Tyranid Bone Sword Warrior. Now, this enemy right here, the main problem I have with this enemy is a mechanic that every single person in this game hates, and it's it's his block. Now, when he's not enraged, right, he can block all your projectiles pretty much. So, for example, what happens is, let's say you have like your typical group, let's say you're going in Inferno, whatever, you have those minority enemies, and then the Tyranid Bone Sword Warriors, and they're just there. You shoot them a few times, whatever, you get, their attention, and, the moment these, they start running towards you, they get their swords up, and all your projectiles are pretty much useless. Now, the only way to pretty much get them out of it is, if you're playing as the heavy and you're using the heavy plasma incinerator or a grenade, right? Now, I feel like they're not really, as obnoxious, when they're just normal in their normal state. But when they get, to their enraged point, it's actually pretty annoying. Now, the main problem I have with, that mechanic is it's pretty much a fuck you mechanic. It's pretty much, we're going to make the game harder by making sure all the damage you do is going to do absolutely nothing, right? And I'm pretty sure even if you do, throw the grenade, by the way, the grenades do, like, absolutely nothing to them, by the way. So yeah, the only point they're going to be using it is to get them out of it. And I'm pretty sure they put their hands up straight away after they get out that stagger phase, and then they run towards, I just feel like it's a waste of a grenade. Now, yeah, I just feel like it's like a fuck you mechanic. They're just like, oh, we're gonna make it so that all your projectiles do no damage. And then let's say I need health or whatever. Let's say I'm getting shot by some, like, for example, let's say a Tyranid Devourer, or like maybe the one like the plasma cannon, or whatever that is called, or like the cannon, right? Let's say I need my contested health back, and I can't get that because he's just there putting up his bone sword, and I'm just there like, okay, well, what the fuck can I do, right? Now, this is even more annoying when they're enraged. Now, pretty much when they are enraged, so pretty much, as I said in the beginning, they pretty much have like a red glow or aura. They have increased attack speed, they have a higher damage output, and they are more aggressive, and they are pretty much resistant to stagger. I'm pretty sure they're even resistant to Heavy's plasma incinerator, the charge attack, I think. Don't quote me on that though. But yeah, the main problem I have with this one is, again, it's the block. Now, when they're enraged and they've got their bone swords up, you cannot get them out of it. Now, I do have a video that and this happened twice, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, but I'm going to show you a little clip, right? And it's pretty much me doing a heavy attack, right? And I'm pretty sure grenades don't even get them out of it, right? He's just there, holding his bone sword. I'm throwing a heavy attack. Nothing. Like, literally nothing. There you guys go. Take a look at the clip. Yeah, how many times are these guys gonna get in range, man? That's another topic as well that we need to discuss. Like, can we talk about that? This is a heavy attack that I'm doing, and he's sitting there blocking it. Saber Interactive, care to explain? What am I supposed to do? Just sit here and just wait until he stops? Fuck out of here, man. That's like the same thing with... Again, like, I find that like so stupid. Just because they're enraged, they can block all my attacks. They can block my heavy attacks. They can block my pistol like attack. It's just like, what is this? And yeah, as you can see, he's just there, just blocking my heavy attack, right? Heavy. Let's get that clear. I don't give a shit if you're enraged. I don't care what you got going on. A heavy attack should be knocking that Bonesword Warrior out of that, you know, block stance or whatever it is. Very annoying, and it's just, again, it's like a fuck you mechanic. And another thing that I do want to talk about is Assault's jump pack. If you are using Assault's jump pack and they are blocking, and this is, you know, with them being enraged and not, they can block all your damage, and even if you land right onto them, it will still do nothing. And again, it's like Saber's fuck you mechanic. So we're gonna make the game harder by making sure all the damage you do is gonna become irrelevant, right? And I feel like this block sword and enraged enemies, and again, I'm not talking about all enraged enemies. I'm gonna talk about two specific ones that are annoying, and this being, you know, the bone sword one. And when it comes to chaos, no, I don't really play chaos. I just feel like chaos is boring, but then again, that's a topic for another day, right? We're talking about enraged enemies, you know, Tyranids and whatnot. Because I feel like enraged enemies, when it comes to the chaos, they're not as obnoxious. I feel like there are some, you know, Tyranids, when they're enraged, they just do too much damage, or they've got like a BS mechanic that just shouldn't be in there. And this is one of them. Yeah, so all my heavy attacks just become absolute poo. They do nothing. So I'm just there like, again, what happens if I'm therefore taking damage on the right side, right? And I don't notice it, and my health is gone. And I have no way to gain it back because he's just holding his shit up and all my damage does nothing. I genuinely feel like they need to rework this. Like, I feel like a heavy attack should be getting them out of that stance. I don't care if they're enraged. I don't care what you are, right? I mean, unless it's a fucking Carnivex or whatever, right? That should be doing a shit ton of damage, and that should be getting you out of that, you know, phase. Because I did 2 heavy attacks in that clip. I did 1 and then 2. Now, in my opinion, if the first one does no damage, then I mean, I guess it doesn't damage. But the second one should be doing a lot of damage, right? The first one should be getting them out of that, and the second one should be dealing damage. I just find it very, very, very annoying to deal with, and it's just a fuck you mechanic. And then another enraged enemy I want to talk about is the Tyranid warrior with the Devourer. Now, these guys are annoying with or without being enraged. Now, when they're not enraged, you know, they are still annoying, but they're not as obnoxious as when they are enraged. Now, when they are enraged, like, they deal a shit ton of damage, too much damage. I'm talking, if like one of their bursts get you, that's all your armor segments gone, and it might even eat into your health, your health just a little bit, which is very, very, very annoying. And it's just not fun, man, because I'm just there, right, dodging and weaving, dodging and weaving, dodging and weaving, trying to just do whatever I can to get this guy, you know, out of the flipping game. Because hey, if I have like 6, you know, warriors behind me, right, and I see one Tyranid warrior with a Devourer, I'm solely focusing on you. I don't care. You are annoying, and you need to be dealt with, because it is genuinely just annoying. I genuinely feel like they deal too much damage. They need to be toned down a little bit, because the damage they're doing is just outright stupid. Genuinely outright stupid. I feel like they deal more damage than a Carnivex. And that's not even me over exaggerating. I genuinely feel like they do more damage than a Carnivex. And it's just very annoying, very stupid. And I don't know how, you know, Saber Interactive hasn't, you know, toned them down yet, because again, they are very annoying, very obnoxious. And I'm not the only one talking about this. You got other people talking about this, other people saying it's annoying, and they need to be toned down a little bit, because they do, right? And it's crazy to me that Saber hasn't changed this. And boy, there are so many stuff that, you know, need to be changed in this game, and they have not, which, you know, is bizarre to me. Some, you know, like problems that were in the game at the beginning, and they still have not been fixed, which is crazy to me. And I'm just gonna say one of them being the parrying in this game. where your parrying becomes ineffective. But let's just talk about enraged enemies now. If you want to, you know, like how they get into this enraged, pretty much, you know, how do they get into it? So pretty much what happens is if you pretty much knock them out of their reinforcement stage, I don't know, like, you know, but once they're calling for reinforcements, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it's 100% guaranteed, but if you do knock them out, they will, you know, their face will turn red and they will be enraged. And, you know, it's just annoying, right? But that's one way. I'm pretty sure another way is if you do, you know, take out a majority enemy next to another one, they will be enraged. I'm pretty sure. I think that's not the only way that they can be, you know, enraged, but that is two of the ways that they can be. And again, I just feel like it's annoying. You know, let me know if you guys agree. Maybe I'm just bitching, but, you know, I'm not the only one talking about this. You know, these two specifically, the Tyranid Bone Sword Warrior and the Tyranid Warrior with the Devourer, they need to be changed, reworked. The Tyranid Bone Sword Warrior, like the block mechanic is stupid. Now, yeah, it's just stupid because, like, even with, like, you know, I'm pretty sure even with like a melter rifle, I don't know if a melter rifle knocks them out of it, but I'm pretty sure they can still absorb your damage with the melter rifle, which is just outright stupid, man. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? Because, like, what's even more bizarre is how they can block a whole assault damage. Now, it even blocks like your assaults. The perk called Precision Strike, ground pound deals 100% more damage, but its radius is reduced by 50. If I'm solely Tyranids right there in front of me, I'm legit going down, swooping down like Batman. I'm going down and he's blocking. I do no damage. I deal 0 damage. I'm pretty sure even if I, let's say I have like a block weapon and I, you know, have, you know, whatever it's called, where I have the 2 thing, I'm pretty sure it still does no damage. It just staggers them and that is it. Which again, Saber, can we please fix this? Because it really just isn't fun. And Saber Interactive has to work on this, just like they need to work some other things in this game. Again, I can name you like 4, like what being 1, enraged enemies, you know, chaos headshot multiplier, the parrying bug, you know, all those things need to be changed. But this one, these 2 specifically need to be changed because again, they're just annoying. Yeah, let me know if you guys agree. Let me know, you know, your thoughts on enraged enemies. Now, do you think they should be in the game? Do you think they shouldn't? Now, when it comes to me being, you know, should they be in the game? I don't know, right? Like, I don't know if you want to, you know, talk about lore-wise or whatever, because I don't know shit about lore in Space Marine. I don't know anything about that. But just certain stuff, you know, this needs to be just gone, right? Or toned, maybe not gone, but toned down. Another thing I got to mention is they do also, I'm pretty sure they also gain health as well. By the way, they gain a slight increase in health. So all the damage you just done, you now have to do that all over again. I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that though. I don't know about that. Yeah, and then yeah, in absolute, you know, enraged enemies are, you know, very common. And then you also do have another one, you know, one enemy. Hold on, because I don't know what the name is. It's the one with like the cannon. It's the Venom Cannon is what it was called. Now these guys can also be very annoying as well. Now they're not as annoying as these 2, but pretty much what these guys do, and they can deal a shit ton of damage as well, by the way, when they're enraged with their little Venom Cannon. So again, they are pretty much immune to heavy attacks, right? Now I feel like if you're using a Thunder Hammer, you genuinely might be fucked, because the chances you get hit could be like 50 to 40%, and that's even with the Power Axe, right? The Power Axe can like fuck you up, because I don't know if this is true. Let's say you're just, you know, going in with like your Power Axe and just, you know, R winning, and you know, going through that combo, you can't back out of that combo. So let's say the Tyranid Warrior wants to, you know, charge it up, it's gonna take away all your health, right? And by the way, it has 2 charge up attacks. So usually, you know, when it's not in a range, it does like 1. It can do 2, but usually does 1. When they're in a range, they pretty much always do 2, and they don't get staggered again. Like, again, I feel like if they're in range, a heavy attack should be staggering them no matter who they are. It should be staggering them, but it doesn't. So let's say I'm going in, let's say I'm running in R1 and I'm going in for the heavy attack. I now need to spam X consistently, because again, I can't dodge when I'm going in for that heavy attack, right? So let's say, you know, it starts charging up once I, you know, run up and do the R1 lunge attack with the Thunder Hammer. or like, let's say, you know, I do the R1 lunge attack and then I'm about to go in for it, right? Like, let's say I'm about to pull it up, I can't, you know, get out of it, right? I can't dodge out of it, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, be prepared to take a lot of damage and get your contested health back. But then again, these guys aren't as annoying, you know, as the ones I stated before. Now, and then you also do have the Tyranid Warrior with the Barbed Strangler. Now, these guys, I don't know what they do when they are, you know, enraged. I don't know if they just put more shit down on the ground with their little, you know, barbed shit. But that is also very annoying, because sometimes they just like spam the living shit out of it. And it's just very annoying, very obnoxious when you're like trying to take out, like, let's say a Tyranid, you know, Bone Sword Warrior, or, you know, Tyranid Warrior with the Lash Whip. And you're just spamming it, and you just have to get out of it, and it's like slowing you down and whatnot. They're annoying, but the ones I, you know, said in the beginning of the video, they're the ones that are the most annoying. Let me know if, you know, what you guys think of Enraged. Let me know your thoughts on, you know, the stuff I said. Let me know if you agree, disagree. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I am out. Peace.